Hello, boys and girls. Today we're going to be talking about making connections using our prior knowledge. So a few weeks ago we talked about prior knowledge, and a little bit last week too, about prior knowledge is what we know, what we already know, what we've learned in our past. Prior means before, so what we know from before. So here I have a little kind of like an anchor chart, and we're going to kind of talk through it. So we're going to utilize today prior knowledge to make connections. Good readers do this all the time in every book they read. So we're going to utilize prior knowledge to make connections. Remember, prior knowledge is what we already know. It's our schema. Everyone say that. Schema. Good. And so you might see that word schema on our cafe menu options because schema comes up a lot, what we already know. So prior knowledge and schema mean the same thing. So everyone say schema. Beautiful. Schema. So we're going to use our schema, our prior knowledge, to make connections about what we already know and what we read. So if I am reading a story about something that relates to what I know from my own life, so maybe it's about living on a farm. I lived on a farm. So that would be text or book. Text and book mean the same thing. Text to self. Now, if I'm reading about a farm and last week I read about a farm, then it would be text to text. I learned about that in another story. I'm using my schema that I'm building from reading and from experiencing things to make connections to other things. And then text to world. Text to world might be relating it to things that are happening in our world. So maybe it's text to world if we're talking about World War II. Maybe it's text to world if we're talking about a pandemic or about having to wear masks or about a really bad sickness. Those are all things that we could be connecting to our world right now. So that would be text to world. So again, we're going to utilize prior knowledge to make connections. So our prior knowledge and our schema are going to help us make connections to the story. So good readers are always making connections. So today I'm going to read you the story, 10 Thank You Letters. So I want you to think about what this story could be about. And maybe you've read it before, and if you have, that's okay. If you haven't, I want you to make a prediction. What could this story be about? What do you think might happen in this story based on the cover and the title? Pause the video and write your connection in your journal and label the top 10 thank you letters because we're going to be doing a little bit of writing during this read aloud. So go ahead and write 10 thank you letters at the top of your journal page and then make a prediction. What do you think this story might be about? All right, did you get your prediction written down? Awesome. So remember, if you didn't, you can pause the video and join us when you're ready. So 10 thank you letters. Mrs. Salver is still trying to get better at read alouds over Zoom. It's hard sometimes to show you. Now, as I'm reading, I'm going to be working on my prior knowledge. So already, before I start reading 10 thank you letters, I've written thank you letters when I got married. I sent out thank you letters to those people who sent me gifts or cards. And for my graduation, I did the same thing. And now, as I'm getting older, I get thank you letters as I send out gifts. So I know a little bit about thank you letters. So I'm using my schema about thank you letters to help me as I read this story. So right now, that's a text to self connection that I'm making. So when I do this, that's connection. Ring, ring. Hello, rabbit. Hello, pig. Want to play? Sure, but first I'm writing a thank you letter to my grandma. She got me this sweater for my birthday. Nice. Hey, I want to thank my grandma too. So, has your grandma ever gotten you anything for your birthday? So maybe that's a text to self connection. You can connect with those characters. Or maybe you read a story about a grandma who did that. And then that would be text to text. Can I borrow a piece of paper, pig, and a pencil? Sure, rabbit. Dear Grandma, thank you for the marshmallow cake you always bake for my birthday. Love, Rabbit. Okay, Pig, I'm done with my letter. How about you? Not yet, Rabbit. I'm telling my grandma about the weather. But it's a thank you letter. Why tell her about the weather? I don't know, Rabbit. It's just the way I do it. Whoa, I just thought of someone who deserves a big thank you. Can I borrow another piece of paper, Pig? And an envelope and stamp too? So I'm kind of making a connection because sometimes when I'm doing things, my brother interrupts me all the time. So I'm connecting to Pig and how he's getting interrupted by Rabbit. So good connectors or good readers are always making connections. So be a good connector to your stories. Dear Madam President, thank you for doing a ducky job. Let me know if you need some help. Love, Rabbit. Done! Are you finished with your letter yet, Pig? Well, no. I thought I'd tell my grandma about how I'm helping my mom with chores. Do you ever help your mom with chores? That could be a connection. Chores? Why are you telling her that? It's a thank you letter. Because Grandma likes when I help my mom, and she might want to know how things are going around here. Hey, I just thought of another great person to thank. Can I borrow more paper? You can tell the Pig's kind of like, I'm just trying to write my thank you letter. Dear Mr. Lappin, in case you were wondering how things are going around here, they are great. Your funny books make my whole class laugh. Love, Rabbit. Are you done with your letter yet, Pig? I'm sorry, aren't. That's a contraction. Aren't you done with your letter yet, Pig? No, Rabbit. I just want to tell my grandma that I laughed so much yesterday, my loose tooth came out. Maybe you lost a tooth. Maybe you lost it laughing. Can I have another sheet of paper, Pig? Let me guess. You thought of someone else to thank? I sure did. Dear Miss Pachyderm, thanks for teaching us about brushing our teeth. Now I have clean teeth and a fresh breath. Love, Rabbit. This one's done too. How's your letter going, Pig? Well, I haven't seen my grandma in a while, so there's a lot to tell her. But you keep interrupting me. Sorry, Pig. Maybe if you just give me a stack of papers and an envelope and more stamps, I won't bother you. That Pig looks kind of frustrated. Dear Mr. Moose, you are the best librarian. Thanks for finding me so many sports books. Love, Rabbit. So maybe you can connect that to Miss Becky. Maybe Miss Becky helps you find amazing books at the library. Dear Mr. Otter, thank you for being a great bus driver and never getting lost on the way to school. Love, Rabbit. Dear Mrs. Chicken, thank you for being a great crossing guard and making sure everyone gets to the other side. Love, Rabbit. Dear Mr. Hog, thanks for always giving me a carrot pop at your market. Love, Rabbit. Dear Mr. Kid, thanks for delivering all our mail. It's a lot to carry, isn't it? Love, Rabbit. There's another connection, or another contraction too. So we're noticing other things that we're learning about as we read. There, I'm finished. See you later, Pig. I'm off to the mailbox to send my letters. Finally, I can finish my letters. Yay! Done! But Rabbit used all my envelopes and all my stamps. Oh no! Oh, sorry. Oh no! How will I mail my letter to Grandma now? Ring ring. Hello, Pig. Guess what? I got more envelopes and stamps for you. And I wrote one more thank you letter. I thought I'd deliver it myself. Here. So I just thought of a connection text to text. My daughter loves Pinkalicious, and Pinkalicious had a story about where she used all the pink paint, and her friend got mad, like Pig got mad at Rabbit, and then she gave her more paint back, and then she was happy, like Pig in this story. So that's text to text. Thank you, Rabbit. No one ever wrote me a thank you letter before. Dear Pig, thank you for inspiring me and for being generous and for being my friend. Love, Rabbit. P.S. Now are you ready to play catch? So, I love his letter. That actually has some really interesting vocabulary words in it, like inspiring and generous. Those are great words that I want to use as I start talking and writing and pay attention to as I'm reading. So I'm paying attention to interesting words. Everyone say inspiring and generous. Can you write inspiring and generous in your journal, please? Pause the video so that you can see it on the screen, because we want to make sure we spell it right too, so we can spell it right in our writing. Pause the video and play it when you're ready. Yay! Game time! Yes, after a quick stop at the mailbox. There's his letter that he wrote to his grandma. Dear Grandma, thanks for sending me the great birthday sweater. Did you know my favorite color is purple? The weather has been cool, so I can wear my sweater every day, even when I'm helping Mom wash dishes and sweep the floor. Yesterday, my best friend Rabbit and I were laughing at a funny book, and my loose tooth fell out. Oh well, I will grow another one. Anyway, thanks again for the sweater, and I hope you are well. Love, Pig. What a nice letter he wrote to his grandma. So, boys and girls, as we continue talking about this book in a couple of different videos, I want you to think about those vocabulary words that we were speaking and writing about. So remember last video about vocabulary, we talked about gracious and gratitude. Or grateful, and gratitude. So with grateful, Pig is grateful to his grandma for giving him the sweatshirt or the sweater, and he's showing gratitude by sending her the letter. So those are two words that we can be thinking about when we think back about this story. So say grateful and gratitude. And Rabbit was also grateful that Pig shared with him, and he showed gratitude by writing that letter to him. This book has a lot of things that maybe you can make connections to. After you're done watching this video, I want you to go to your journal page where you've been writing throughout the story, and I want you to write a couple connections you can make to the story. So it could be text to text, maybe this story to another story you read, or it could be text to self. Maybe it's something you've experienced or it reminded you of something in your life. So use your prior knowledge to make connections to this story. Go ahead and write those connections in your journal and then take a picture and post it to Seesaw. If you need to watch the video back, you can do that to help you make more connections. Have fun connecting to your stories.